This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Don Brennan. Rebecca has the morning off, and John will join me momentarily. But the big news of the night, the debate last night, and fiery exchanges in the first presidential face-off last night. Just a few minutes in, everybody tried to be cordial, but Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump clashed on several fronts during the debate. ABC's Stephanie Ramos joins us now live from Hofstra University in New York with a little tale of the tape in the toe-to-toe battle.
This may have been the highest rated reality show ever. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump disagreeing over race, jobs, terrorism, and temperament.
The candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, walking out on the debate stage, shaking hands and taking a fighting stance. Their first general election face-off turning contentious and personal quick.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
It was a spirited debate full of interruptions.
Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the facts.
But you have no plan.
Oh, I do.
Slamming each other on issues like climate change, trade, to stop and frisk.
The argument is that it's a form of racial profiling.
No, the argument is that we have to take the guns away from these people that have them and that are bad people that shouldn't have them.
Stop and frisk was found to be unconstitutional, and in part because it was ineffective.
Trump continuing to blast Clinton on her stamina and strength, but Clinton shutting down that line of attack.
Well, as soon as he travels to 112 countries and negotiates a peace deal, a ceasefire, a release of dissidents, an opening of new opportunities in nations around the world, or even spends 11 hours testifying in front of a congressional committee, he can talk to me about stamina.
This marked the first time both Clinton and Trump shared the same stage, side by side, as they try to prove to voters they're the best person to lead the country.
You decided to stay home, and that's okay.
I think Donald just criticized me for preparing for this debate. And yes, I did. And you know what else I prepared for? I prepared to be president, and I think that's a good thing.
One debate down, two more to go. The second presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump is set for October 9th in St. Louis, Missouri. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, New York. Back to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And, well, the gloves definitely came off. Hillary seemed to be trying to take the high road, smiling and trying to stay above the fray. But Donald's a brawler. He wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, you know what? I was surprised, I think, by the civility of the whole thing. I mean, they allowed each other to speak. Yes, there was some overlapping,
Right.
and there was some certainly spirited, I guess we could call it, discussion. But it wasn't an all-in-all brawl. So I thought they did a good job with the moderation of the debate.
Yeah, I would say about 10 minutes in, Lester was trying to stop them both, but neither one would let it end on a false note or what they felt was a false accusation.
Right.
So, but then they brought it back, and it was
good
civil.
back and forth,
Yeah.
and I don't know that it changed anybody's mind who had already made up their decision, made up their mind, but you know, it might have swayed some voters. So it'll be interesting to see what the polls show a little bit later on.
The barometer is dropping, but 79% of online interaction was about the debate last night. So
thank you for mentioning the barometer, by the way. We do have some changes coming up, I think, across our region. Again, yesterday, some pretty big storms around, lots of lightning and a lot of thunder, some pretty heavy rainfall as well. We got a little bit of a wind shift going on now, which tends to favor these morning showers. And we've had a few showers around this morning during the overnight. Not many, but a few. Radar kind of quiet right now, and I think really through most of the morning, we're not going to see a whole lot of activity here. So that's good news. I think the morning commute will feature quiet conditions, but the ride home this evening will feature a few more storms around. Not as many as yesterday, and probably not as aggressive as yesterday. But we will see the storms, and we will see temperatures that are possibly a little warmer than they were yesterday. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk about the active tropics and a cold front approaching our region coming up all in just a few, Don.
Excellent. Thank you, John. Checking out the traffic right now. There is an accident to speak of. It's down 41 up in the Terracea area, northbound 41 at 69th Street as you approach 275 and the entrance to the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. So be aware of that. northbound 41 at 69th Street in the Terracea area. And then as you look at the rest of Manatee County, the normal volume for this time of the morning, 41 both north and south, just north of Cortez Road, a little bit voluminous, but otherwise everything's moving along in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. And topping our news here on the Suncoast, a little girl is in serious condition after her mother's boyfriend allegedly fractured her skull. A warning, some of these pictures are graphic, as Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies arrested Nicholas Ritter over the weekend after bringing the 3-year-old girl to Sarasota Memorial Hospital and telling staff that she had fallen. Doctors found 2 skull fractures, a laceration on her chin, and internal bleeding. Ritter was arrested and later admitted to deputies that he had been alone with the toddler, but wouldn't say whether or not he abused her. Someone who knows Ritter had this reaction.
I don't even know what an appropriate punishment would be, but I would say if he got 20 years, I'd say, all right, kind of okay with that.
I have 2 small children of my own. It scared the daylights out of me that something like that could happen to a little girl with somebody that she trusted.
Ritter is charged with aggravated child abuse. The little girl is breathing and moving on her own, but she is still in a coma. The FBI is now joining the investigation into evidence theft within the Bradenton Police Department. The FBI spokesman says the agency is assisting the department in their internal investigation after the department requested the help early in the process. The investigation was brought to the public's attention during a mayoral debate when former Deputy Chief Warren Merriman claimed money, guns, and possibly drugs were stolen from the evidence room at the Bradenton PD. Chief Melanie Bevan says it's an active criminal investigation. In Palmetto, local business owners are fighting plans to open a new nightclub on 8th Avenue West. Brian Bowles owns the property at 615 8th Avenue West, and a new tenant wants to turn part of the property into a Spanish nightclub. City officials rejected Bowles' application for a conditional use permit. Nearby business owners say bars that have opened in the area have caused issues with garbage, weapons, and drugs being left in the parking lot and gang graffiti being painted on the buildings. Bowles says future performance cannot be based on the past, and city planners also said a bar would cause further parking issues. It's the 3rd time an attempt to open a bar in the space has been turned down. In the meantime, Palmetto City Commissioners have voted on a new budget for this coming fiscal year. During last night's meeting, it took place, and commissioners unanimously approved the $26 million budget. The millage rate will remain the same at 5.9 this year. The biggest spending will be on the mayor and commissioner salaries, as well as $4.6 million for the police department. $2 million will go to the city's stormwater fund and $1.5 million for the road and bridge fund. Residents living along Sarasota County beaches are once again dealing with the sights and smells of red tide and dead fish the past few days. Business owners, though, aren't sure if that's having a major impact on them yet. They say September is typically a slow season for places that rely on water sports.
If you're only in town for a few days and you have to choose between sitting in your hotel room or coming out here, we can guarantee that coming out here is definitely the better choice.
The fishing's actually picking up every day here. You know, our water's starting to cool off a little bit. The fishing's getting real good.
State wildlife officials say despite the red tide and fish kills, it's still safe to go into the water. And as tourist season traffic begins again, the Florida Department of Transportation says part of a traffic study between Sarasota and Manatee counties and the Barrier Islands will not begin until next year. FDOT says they are currently working on finding a consultant for the study and will not find one in time for this season. While data collection will not begin until next season, once approved, the consultant will begin working on other parts of the study, including reviewing previous research. It's one of 3 traffic projects the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization has approved for the year 2017. They have also signed off on the DeSoto Bridge replacement and the River Road expansion projects. The field for the next superintendent of Sarasota County Schools has narrowed down to 3. Andrew Reinberg, a former assistant superintendent with Indian River County, says he's dropping out for personal reasons. The remaining 3 candidates all have experience in the state of Florida, including Todd Bowden, who is currently Sarasota County's Director of Career, Technical, and Adult Education. The decision for the next superintendent is expected on October 18th. And Florida Surgeon General Celeste Phillip and other state, local, and national health officials will be in Sarasota today for a Child Hunger Summit. All Faiths Food Bank is hosting the summit at the Sarasota Municipal Auditorium this morning. The theme this year is Child Hunger and its Impact. Participants at the summit will go over how to raise awareness for child hunger and factors that contribute to it, as well as how the community can work to prevent it. The summit goes from 8 this morning until noon and is open to the public at a cost of $25.